He's fucking done it! Go on, we fucking did it!
Fuck yeah, mate.
Yes! Ascent!
Alright. Yeah, Alex did like 0 stress ascent, second go of the day, first day up here, like psyched for Alex, but then
It puts the pressure on so much. Like, we've not got enough time, and like there's limited time every morning. So like, I cannot imagine the pressure you've been on the last 2 days.
So I had a good go yesterday after Alex, but like obviously not close enough, so I just had to sit here once the sun came around for the whole day.
We're having a good time.
Just like having a good time, but just stewing on the fact that like Alex has done it and I've not, and it's like it's all on me for the ascent now. So third go today, I was starting to get stressed, but we've made it happen.
We're doing it. We're going to the top. Come on!
And they've bloody done it. Alex Waterhouse and Billy Ridal have free climbed the nose of El Capitan, arguably the most famous climb in the world, and in doing so have become the first British pair to free the route. In spite of their total lack of big wall experience, the pair got stuck in at the deep end, documenting their efforts on Instagram and sending us reports that we've been publishing on YouTube. What shone through was the psych brimming from each and every broadcast. They were also pretty candid about the rapid learning curve and the mistakes made along the way. Despite being newcomers to the genre, they got stuck in with the route's 2 hardest pitches, the Great Roof pitch and the Changing Corners pitch, and attempted to work them in a top-down effort. What they lacked in big wall experience, they made up for with a wealth of other climbing experience. Be that in hard sport or boulder, or perhaps most relevant to the lot, is their high pressure comp climbing experience, where the send matters. So the pair are used to a wide variety of different climbing styles, and whilst they're not particularly renowned for their trad, neither are they complete strangers to it. Alex proved this earlier on in the trip when he flashed the notoriously awful looking belly full of bad berries. But time was undeniably tight in between when they had to start the route and when Billy's return flight home was booked on the following Sunday. And when they did eventually get onto the wall, they were thwarted by a couple of days of bad weather. All in all, they got off to quite a slow start, which wasn't the start that they probably wanted. But once the weather changed and the rock dried, the pace of progress changed dramatically. And before the blink of an eye, it felt like the news had come out that they had just freed the Great Roof pitch. Having freed the Great Roof, they were on to the Changing Corners, which is the real crux of the route, coming in at 514A compared to the Great Roof's 513C. In European terms, that equates to around 8B plus for the Changing Corners pitch and 8A plus for the Great Roof pitch. It's also worth taking these grades with a pinch of salt, because it's worth bearing in mind that these pitches aren't climbed in isolation. They're climbed as the larger part of the big walling experience. And all the meanwhile, Alex and Billy are both going to be tired from hauling their bags, being in a leaky portaledge, or endlessly pooing in tubes. Everything takes its toll. But much like the Great Roof, the news came through quite quickly that Alex had initially done it and then Billy had done it the following day on his 3rd attempt. And this just left the relatively trivial climbing above for them to do. We caught up with Alex and Billy, who had this to say.
We did it! We freaking did it! So we're back in the meadow to give you a little bit of a debrief now that we're back down and showered and not absolutely rancid from 7 days up on the wall.
I think 2 pairs of pants might be a bit more appropriate next time.
I agree with that, especially after 2 days of sat in a puddle and everything's damp and you've not got anything to change into. Not recommended.
Not recommended. Well, not recommended. It did add a little bit to the adventure. Like, genuinely, one of the best adventures I've ever been on.
Yeah.
The combination of hard climbing, which I love, like being somewhere totally out of the depth that we kind of have to deal with on the fly and like solve problems. Just like being in an incredible situation, incredible position, like meeting cool people on the wall, doing it with a friend. It's blooming brilliant.
Pretty special, that, isn't it?
It's really nice. Like, coming down now and like looking up at it, it looks totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought we'd sort of come back down and look at it and be like, oh yeah, it's not so big now, but it looks just as intimidating as it did in the first place, and it just seems totally ridiculous that we've we've gone all the way up that thing.
Absolutely. I think it will take a little while for it to kind of sink in right now.
Yeah. Well, I had like a lot of elation having completed changing corners, and then my main emotion since getting from the top is just like knackered, ready to get down and have some like comfort in my life again, basically.
We just ate pancakes and it was the best thing ever. It was so much better than like 2 packets of instant porridge in the morning.
Yeah, we were like sat on the top just like saying a few words about the ascent, and all we could really say was, oh, we're excited to have a pizza when we get
to have a pizza. We'd been talking about our pizza order for like 3 days, and it just ballooned and ballooned to the point it got ridiculous, and then we got down and we pretty much smashed it.
That was my main incentive to complete changing corners, to be honest, was so that we could get back down and have a pizza. If that incentive wasn't there, then we might still be struggling up there.
So we'll tell the story a little bit. We'll try not to dramatize. So we pushed a bag to Dalt. So we like 8 climbed up there, 10 pitches. I think we chatted to these guys. I think we mentioned
this a little bit, yeah. And then we were planning to have 2 days of rest after that and be like nice and recovered, and then have a 7-day push. When we got down, it was apparent that the weather was looking a bit iffy, so we made the call to go a day early with the plan of having 2 days of good weather to get ourselves up to Camp 4, which is the sort of the bivvy just below the Great Roof. So it's like 19 pitches, about 2/3 of the way up, which we were under the impression was like one of the better places to be if the weather is bad.
And we did have a fly.
Yes, had a portaledge and a fly, which we hadn't actually taken up in the haul bag because we had a plan of borrowing some of these G7 like really comfy single person ledges.
Which is great if it's not raining, but we needed the fly, so we made a portaledge bag, got 2 from the hardware store. We got 2 sandbags, taped them together, and then like wrapped the whole thing in duct tape so the portaledge was well supported and safe.
Definitely a little bit janky, but it worked out pretty well. So
repairs,
that first day we ended up actually hauling a lot more weight than we were intending to, just on a little tagline, which made that first day quite a lot harder work than we were.
That first day was probably the hardest day of the whole thing, to be for me. Like in terms of physical, I was wrecked by the end of it. We finished in the dark, like.
Yeah, it was a long day. There's a few pitches down there which they don't get big grades like 11D, 12A, but I think at least for our personal experiences, like have some of like trickier sequences on the route outside of Great Roof and changing corners. Plus it was a hot day.
Yeah, it was too hot really.
We were sweating and our feet were sliding, like rubber was way too warm for granite smearing. So first day was actually pretty hard.
Second day I was struggling as well, like. So actually, when we got to Camp 4...
We were pretty ragged.
We were ragged.
We've done 20 pitches and hauled 20 pitches, and you've not done any really hard climbing, but you've done quite a lot of, like, tricky climbing.
Yeah.
So having the rain coming in, like, kind of forcing us to have a rest day was definitely not the end of the world. Yeah, as you said, we just sort of had, like, a day and a half of, like, moderate anxiety of have we just put ourselves in a really stupid place that we don't really know how to get ourselves out of.
But fortunately, sun came out the next day.
Yeah.
Next morning, beautiful sunshine for about 4 hours, and then the rain picked up.
Yeah.
And that night was a lot
The second
worse.
night was way worse. It was, basically the rain was a little bit stronger. It kind of, we don't know exactly what was happening, but we would sort of get these like buffets of wind and then much stronger spray down onto the fly. And
I think we had a waterfall.
We kind of think like maybe there was like a waterfall like a bit off to the side, and when there was a stronger wind, it was just like blowing the waterfall. And it like
so
pretty scary to be in it. And then we've got this fly that, thank you very much, Tom Randall, for lending it to me.
Legend.
But, it didn't work brilliantly. And it would be okay unless there was like a little ripple, or if you touched it and then everything would come through. And you're obviously in this really, really confined space, so you're pretty much touching it a little bit all of the time, or your like sleeping bag is touching it all of the time.
And we were just suffering. We were like, we were cooking food like in a single jet boil that we were holding because the hand kit didn't didn't work. And we're like sort of sat up trying to avoid touching all the sides, like stirring away and eating and just being like, okay, I'm done, mate. Like, there you go.
I was sat there with like hip flexor DOMs from attempting to sort of maintain this position to keep the dinner up and also not weight the fly too much, so I got really wet.
And then we had the Great Roof to do.
Yeah, we
hadn't even started any of the hard climbing at this point.
Yeah. So after like 2 days of shitty weather, we actually then got kind of blessed by the weather. We had a sunny morning where we just like hung everything up on lines and got everything dried out.
We just did the Great Roof.
We fucking both sent.
One after the other.
Yeah.
Bill sent first, like smooth, tidy, lovely as you like. Put the pressure on. My ascent was not quite so pretty, but I got to sub.
I think it was better to watch though. I was stressing up Toffee, like messed up the boulder prop, like the first boulder problem as you come into the roof. Like, and it's not terminal that, but I was like, oh. And then he started power screaming again, like pretty early through the roof. I was like, oh no. And then there's move right at the very end, which I fell off twice whilst we were working it. And Alex looked like he was cruxing out on that move, and I was like, oh, I know what this feels like. This is not good. This is not good.
We did it.
But
that's so sick. That's like one of the 2 hardest pitches down. Like,
yeah, like we're going to changing corners now, and that's the only obstacle. The weather is better, I think.
it's snowing.
Well, okay, no, it stopped. We've replaced rain with snow,
which is way better.
which is definitely an
Seems like
improvement.
it's gonna drip through the port ledge left.
It's very cold.
I mean, like we did this with no one around, like no one else is on the wall, like just me and Bill doing it together, and like that was a very good moment.
Yeah,
and we kind of came down, ate our like cosmic brownie for
Had a little
celebration meal, and then eyes on the rest of the route.
Yeah, because that was kind of the moment where it started to actually sort of feel a bit more real. Like until we got on that pitch, like we're kind of just having a go. Like there's who really knows how it's going to pan out. But once you're through that pitch, like you're gonna get to changing corners, and then you're only 1 pitch away. So it's like suddenly it's like, oh, it's kind of game on now. Like we could make this happen.
Yeah, Great Roof was definitely the biggest unknown for.
Yeah. For you.
For me, I felt a bit better on changing corners. I think Billy felt a bit better on Great Roof.
Yeah.
But like for me, that was having limited time and like quite limited practice on the Great Roof. I was pretty stressed. So to get through that, I'm psyched. Like.
Yeah.
So next day we made our way up to Camp 6. So it's only like 4 or 5 pitches. So we took it pretty steady. Yeah. It's got one of the like meteor ones, glowering spot. It's like 12D, so about 7C.
That's in theory the third hardest pitch on the route.
We had a little go at it before, so it didn't end up being too bad. But like. Pretty chill day, got up to the ledge and like aided through changing corners and sort of brushed everything. It got wet during the rain, so sort of reset up our tick marks and then into bed, and then it's time for the battle at that point. Like changing corners is the real crux. It's 14A, it's a lot harder than Great Roof, and like it's the sort of technical climbing that you could just fall off for days and days at a time without really making any learnings or improvements. Like your feet just slip, you come off, conditions don't feel great. Like it's a real roll of the dice. Like you're really you're gambling.
You could go up there and everything feels perfect, the conditions are really good, you feeling really good, Nick, your skin is really good, and your foot just picks off the first bad foothold for like not really that good a reason, which it just makes it really nerve-wracking, because like, even if you're quite optimistic that you are capable of doing it, there's every chance that you just do that again and again and again until you're out of time or out of food. So
we gave ourselves 3 days. So once we got there, we had 3 days of supplies, and Billy's flight left on the 4th day. So 3 days of work and
then a hard deadline. Like we had to go after that. We'd be out of food. I need to get on a flight. So it was 3 days to do it or bust, pretty much.
Who's fucking done it? Go on, we fucking did it!
Fuck yeah, mate.
Yes!
Ascent!
Alright,
yeah, Alex did like 0 stress ascent, second go of the day, first day up here, like psyched for Alex, but then
it puts the pressure on so much. Like we've not got enough time, and like there's limited time every morning. So like I cannot imagine the pressure you've been on the last 2 days.
So I had a good go yesterday after Alex, but like obviously not close enough, so I just had to sit here once the sun came around for the whole day.
We're having a good time.
Just like having a good time, but just stewing on the fact that like Alex has done it and I've not, and it's like it's all on me for the ascent now. So 3rd go today, I was starting to get stressed, but we've made it happen. We're doing it. We're going to the top.
Come on!
we kind of know that we're going to do it at that point. There's 4 pitches above that, one which is kind of tricky, but like
we'd practiced it, we sort of knew what we were
barring
aiming for.
like weather or something like that, like we're going to the top.
So we're like, that's the summit really for us. So we're psyched. We come down for breakfast. We like packing up slowly, and then the realization sort of dawns, and I was we've still got to do 4 pitches in a hole, and like then it just becomes work because like we're pretty sure we're gonna do it. We've got enough time, but like
we sort of had like
the summit, another elation,
another pitch or so up. We kind of had like a little mini come down where we're like, oh, we still got to do quite a lot of work.
But we had a nice time. The sun came out, romped to the top.
Had a cool, like really good experience actually on the
last pitch.
last pitch.
Last pitch was a lot of fun.
It's all bolted, but it's the most exposed position that you can possibly imagine. Like the very top bit of El Cap, there's all these like roofs, and it's kind of the first bit of like truly overhanging climbing that you're doing on it.
And then we're at the top.
Yeah,
did it?
Give a little hug to the summit tree. Got all of our shit up.
Then we had to hike down.
So
much work. My legs
again,
are so
it's
sore.
another little like, yay, we're at the tree, we've done it. We have to get all of our shit down now.
I think it's quite like, it epitomizes big walling. Like you can do something that you're like really proud of and you feel successful, and then it's like, oh, okay, now I gotta hike everything down.
More work.
I gotta send out. I gotta like, this is probably the hardest like climbing achievement I've ever done. Like in a condensed like 6-week period, like work camp,
so much work,
hiking up hills, jogging ropes, pulling
like,
stuff around, like setting up anchors. It's
yeah.
all of the like associated stuff around the outside that makes this really hard. Like the climbing's hard to do, and it's hard to do from the bottom, but like it's all of the like it's the total load of everything that really makes this hard.
If you ignore all of that extra load, like you had 8 sessions, I had 9 sessions on changing corners. Like that's already the most number of sessions that I've put into a single bit of climbing.
But it's only 14A. Like it's an 8B. If you were to climb an 8B plus sport route in Spain, if you had a day where you climbed an 8A plus sport route and an 8B plus sport route in Spain, it'd be like, oh, cool. Like
that was a good
day. Like I'm gonna go home, drink a glass of wine, and like finish up. But like to do that with 28 other pitches of technical climbing, dragging all your stuff up with you, figuring it all out, like
just the amount of logistics to just get to those pitches to make it work. Like just getting yourself to changing corners is a lot of work. Like you've got a big day of hiking all your stuff up and wrapping down, and then you have to work 14A. Getting to Great Roof was like astronomically more work than that again. Like we did an entire rappel of El Cap just to work that pitch
for 2 days.
We had, I think we had, I was doing this right, we had 7 days on the wall, 7 days working changing corners, an extra 2 days working Great Roof, and 3 days running from the top. So we're at
3 days running from the bottom.
From the bottom, sorry. So with 19 days on the wall.
Out of, I think we've been here about
30 days. Add 4 days of hiking up the back as well onto that.
Yeah.
Like we've just been working this whole time basically,
and it's funny to this was an unreasonably audacious goal when we set it, like to have no big walling experience, to have no, like we haven't even seen this thing. We don't know what this is going to take.
We set a goal that we didn't even have any context or understanding of what it even meant to do it.
So we came here and we fully committed. Like that, we haven't been on I climbed Nutcracker. It's like a 5-7.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we haven't touched another piece of rock in the whole of this valley.
Literally been here for 30 days and climbed on one route with the very real chance that we just climb nothing the entire time.
We don't even send any of the pictures. We just we get rained out. Like this season could have ended 2 weeks ago and we'd have just been done. We'd have spent all this time working on it or whatever. The fact that we've done all of that, fully committed to a goal that we didn't think we were going to do, kind of shared it along the way, and then actually done it.
I'm really proud of this. Proud of this. I'm psyched as well that we have kind of tried to share the journey along with it. It's made it, for me at least, a lot more stressful.
Yeah, sure.
It's really cool having people invested and getting all these words of support from people. Like that's meant an awful lot to us, and it's like picked us up in some of the lower moments. But I've also, like when I was up on changing corners and you've got like a lot of people back home like, yeah, you can do it, and I'm like, I don't know if I can.
I'm not sure that I can do this.
I don't want to let you guys down. Like it's been stressful for sure, and that's been a little bit of a new experience. Like having people sort of coming along on a project and journey, especially when it was one that felt so big and so uncertain. But yeah, I'm really glad that we did it, and it's made it all the more rewarding. And it's just really cool that people have psyched and like enjoyed following along, and hopefully we've inspired a few people by doing it.
I think the most the most different part about this is that I feel like we've actually done this as a team. Like this is a shared ascent, total partnership thing. Like any other experience I've had in climbing is like pretty uniquely personal. Like even if you're working something with somebody, it's still your own project, and you're like, your journey is your own. With this, we're carrying each other's stuff. We're like picking each other up when stuff goes wrong. Like this doesn't work without each other, and so like it's really cool to do that like with a good friend, and like I couldn't imagine a better partner than Billy.
It's like a true partnership for doing it, and like we get to share the glory. Hell fucking yeah, we did it.
Crazy.
All right, thanks for following along, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it.